Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. This is a daily close for Bitcoin to see what happened, what it might happen next. Basically, Bitcoin today is ranging very sideways and we didn't saw a lot of action, but basically it was still expected because we are in a potential wave 4 of a wave 3 here. What does it mean? We have an issue here with this move toward the upside, right? So we mentioned today that if this is a wave 3, okay, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, very ugly wave 3, very small, smaller than wave 1, smaller than wave 5, meaning this is not an impulse, right? It's not a finished impulse, but we are trying, of course, to save this impulse by having here a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, right? So this is an impulse finishing a wave 3 here, potentially, where you might have a 1, 2, and then 3, right? So we have 1, 2, and then 3, and you're looking right now to the wave 4, right? For this impulse toward the upside. Now, the problem again, another issue with this wave 4, which is related, of course, to this wave 2 here, the white scenario, the wave 4 is incredible large in time. It's incredible large in time. And we don't see, of course, a very large wave 2 here. However, timing has never been an invalidation, but obviously that this is very corrective, right? Very sideways and still potentially looking for higher. But anyway, you would like to see higher prices in both case scenario. I would say why? Because if you have here a W, X, and a Y, okay, let's say you have finished a W here, and you have an X already given as 3 waves, and you're looking for a wave Y, you would like to see, of course, this zigzag unfolding, right? And that means this might unfold, of course, higher prices in both case scenarios. Whether you are continuing a 1, 2, 3, I would say even 3, 4, and a 5 here to finish a wave 3 in the yellow, and then 4 and a 5. Because, as I mentioned, this is your 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5 to finish only a wave 3 in the yellow. Now, it is a very ugly impulse toward the upside, I would say. I don't like it at all. The wave 4, big issue regarding the timing for the wave 2. Big issue again with the wave 3 here inside this impulse. Big issue again with the wave 2, very shallow. So it's horrible, right? So basically, I would prefer here, of course, to tend to be in the W, X, and a Y, okay? And that means you have a zigzag and simply another zigzag, and you have a correction in between as a wave X. Now, both case scenarios will require higher prices, right? So we might see higher prices. The difference is that if you are still in an impulse 1, 2, this is your finished wave 3, therefore you get 4 and a 5, okay? In case we get this wave 4 as 3 waves toward the downside and continuation for higher in wave 5, then okay, we got an impulse. We got a wave 1 here, okay? Therefore, you have a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 towards higher prices. Otherwise, if we stop here, yeah, sorry guys, but this is gonna be, of course, a W, X, and a Y, and then we might seek for lower later on. What does it mean seeking for a lower later on? Let's see it a little bit in a bigger overview. So what you might have here, first, it's not bearish. Of course, it's not bearish because bearish, again, if you are bearish here, you are in 1, 2, and then another 1, 2. Is this an impulse toward the downside? Well, you have 1, 2, 3, wave 4, invalidation. No impulse, meaning you have to shift to another possibility 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 diagonal toward the downside. Okay, you say, okay, this is looking like a perfect diagonal, but you see 5 waves toward the downside, you see 3 waves toward the downside. This is not a zigzag, even this is a W, X, and a Y. If we want to count it as 3 ways, it is a W, X, and a Y. And therefore, I cannot count it really as a zigzag here, right? And even with this impulse here, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one kind of like exactly took the wave 1 here. Yeah, so yeah, incredible price action. But I don't see any bearish scenario, guys. Yeah, very bearish. I don't see it yet. I see just simply corrective, meaning this can be an A, B, and a C. Yeah, so your wave B is internally kind of for three ways, having an A and having a C, of course, before. We saw this in Bitcoin in the history. We saw something like that before. So basically, it might, of course, do the same here. And another scenario is, of course, that if you want to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I don't recommend it, of course, very far possibility, you might have here a wave 2, maybe moving down a little bit, getting the 0.38 and moving for higher, but very far possibility again. The highest possibility, I would say, moving for higher directly, whether getting a wave Y. If we get correction and move toward the upside again, this might unfold and impose and kind of like recover the market. You know, whatever issue we get before, it might get corrected here. Okay, so if we have an issue inside this wave 3 here that it looks like not nice and so on, it can be simply corrected after the wave Y. Yeah, having kind of like three waves and continuation toward the upside, finishing an impulse for a wave 1, and then therefore, of course, continuation for higher. Now, currently, I would say for the next price action, guys, I would like to say I'm looking anyway for higher prices. This is very corrective, and I would like to see at least right now this 1-to-1 fib level hit. Okay, so the next target is 110K for Bitcoin. And that can be, of course, a wave 4-5 here, and then finally 4-5 to finish later on. But currently, let's stick with this scenario first, see if this is a W, X, and a Y, and we re-estimate the chart again, of course, for the next target. That was it for Bitcoin. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.